Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you today about the degree of Master Mason. I want to talk to you about how it ties into everything else that I can think of right now, basically. Um, I'm going to start with the Pyramid of Giza. Most of us were taught in school that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a tomb, but which raises the question, well, if it was a tomb, why was there no gold in it? And why was there none of that stuff in there? The only artifacts that they found weren't even buried in the pyramid. They were off to the side in a random hole that seems to have been placed there to stop the crew from going mutinous on their directors, on the archaeologists that were running the project for the Great Temple, because they couldn't find the loot they were looking for in there, because they were hoping to have a big payoff and be able to pay everybody, and it wasn't happening. And the guy that was running the dig got worried that people might turn on him, and so he had basically staged a find close to the Pyramid of Giza in order to keep everyone on the same track and keep himself from getting killed by his mutinous employees. Um, that being said, the only thing that was actually found in the Pyramid of Giza, and it's my understanding that the only thing that actually was in the Pyramid of Giza, was a sarcophagus with no lid on it. The sarcophagus with no lid is in the dark except for one time of year, and at that time of year, the sun shines directly through a light shaft in the pyramid, which goes all the way down to the sarcophagus. So back in the day, when they were initiating someone into the mysteries of knowledge, they would lead them up this tunnel in the Pyramid of Giza to the room with the sarcophagus and lay the initiate in the sarcophagus. When the sun would come through that light shaft in the pyramid and hit the sarcophagus, then they would raise this person up. The priests that were standing by would raise this person up into the light of knowledge, or into the light of the mysteries of Hermes. So when a person is initiated into the degree of Master Mason, they play the part of Hiram Abiff of the Temple Legend. And if you were being initiated, then you would be playing the part of Hiram. And whoever was initiating you, or the presider over the initiation, at the end of the ceremony, basically at the end of the play, when you're laying in the sarcophagus with no lid on it, where, King Solomon in the story, he grabs the hand of Hiram Abiff and he raises him up. So in the play, when you're initiated into Master Mason, a person grabs your hand and they raise you up out of the sarcophagus into the light of Freemasonry. And Freemasonry, in the same way that they did in Egypt, the same way they raised the Egyptian initiate up into the light of knowledge. So now I'm going to take it to the next level. The copy of the Bible I have, the one that I use, is the New Revised Standard. And it just so happens that the New Revised Standard is a grammatically corrected form of the King James Version. Okay, so I want you to keep in mind that King James, before he was King James I, he was King James VI of Scotland. So, what I'm trying to tie together for you is basically the British Isles and the Egyptian connection and the Masonic Christian connection. So, in the book of John, in chapter 20, in verse 11, Mary, and you can read through it. You can read through the chapter. I'll read it to you real quick. I'll read just the part that I'm talking about. Starting in verse 11. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb. She saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had been lying, at one at the head and the other at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, but she did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away. Jesus said to her, Mary. She turned and said to him in Hebrew, Rabboni, or Rabboni, which means teacher, is what it says in parentheses in my Bible. It says, which means teacher. But but off top, Rabboni is not, that doesn't mean teacher, it means master builder. It's a Hebrew term for master mason. So when Jesus is raised from the dead, the first thing that Mary says to him is master mason. That Jesus has been raised into the light of masonry, like a master mason. And so what I'm saying is that King James intentionally put this part in there to conceal a Masonic mystery inside of the Bible. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest some strange things about King James. Some folks think he was black, but that's neither here nor there. But one thing that he did have was a nickname, and his nickname was the Rosicrucian King. And it's important to know that he's called the Rosicrucian King because the Rosicrucian Order is allegedly the same people. No, it is the same people who introduced the Master Mason degree into the Blue degrees, because it used to be that you just got initiated and you were a Mason, and that was it. There was one degree. The whole Master Mason process is something that was introduced by this circle of Rosicrucians that were connected in one way or another to Rosslyn Chapel, or to other various pieces of evidence that led people to believe that there was a tradition which basically John the Baptist initiates Mary, who initiates Jesus, and that and it goes along with Saint Bernard's possible belief or possible evidence that he found suggesting that John the Baptist was the Messiah. And also, it's important to know that there's a degree in York Rite Masonry where you drink out of the conch shell. You drink wine out of the conch shell, and the conch shell is a representation of the skull of John the Baptist. So you're drinking the knowledge from the skull of John the Baptist because he was the source of all of this gnosis, according to this Masonic tradition. And this is a big part of what the Masons are trying to hide. You know what I'm saying? And when I say the Masons that are trying to hide, I'm talking about the Illuminati ones, you know what I mean? The ones that are really running things, and they have a vested interest in it. Because for them to admit to the rest of us that God really came here in the form of a black female is really going to throw their whole patriarch sun worshipping trip for a fucking loop, man. And if you think I'm bullshitting, if you think I'm just making this shit up, go on down to Cornerstone Church in Crescent City and watch them do a baptism. Go down to First Baptist Church, you know what I'm saying, the Baptist church over there by Foursquare, and watch them do a baptism. And they're going to take these guys and they're going to lay them down like they're dead in the water, and they're going to raise them up into the light of Freemasonry, whether you realize that's what's going down or not. When they do a baptism by immersion, those people that are crazy, the baptism has to be by immersion. That comes from the Masonic teaching that King James coded into the Bible concerning the Master Mason degree. The way he writes the Bible, he makes Jesus the master architect, the master mason. But you know what I mean? I'm just saying, it's all up in your Christianity. It's all up in your coffee in the morning. It's all up in your Chevron gasoline. The shit is real, bro. And and all it takes is a little bit of common sense and a little bit connecting the dots. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's been following these videos that has the patience to follow these videos, you know what I'm saying, and that you followed it all the way up to this point, kudos to you, man. I'm not just talking out my ass. And if you want to go and start doing the reading and doing the research, there's a strong possibility you'll find things that even I haven't found. But check this out, man. these motherfucking Illuminati dog and these fucking higher up, these people that are running the blue degrees and duping all these people into giving money into things that they don't understand. Um, it's time for the tables to turn, man. It's time to take it back for Jefferson State. It's time to take it back for the people of this planet, man. This alien fucking influence. I'm over it.